fucking wild, man. All right, look, here is a unique example of schizophrenia and the voices accurately predicting things in the environment. And this is the shit what I'm trying to tell you. It's more complex than what has been described in the literature, which ultimately affects how people approach the science. So look, so one time, this is late at night, right? Somewhere like 11 p.m., 12 a.m., something like that. I get home and I watch TV for a little bit, right? The TV at the time was an older TV, so like when you turn it off, it kind of like every now and then lets off like a couple of pops or maybe a single pop, right? And there's also times where when you turn it off, there's no pop, right? So it's inconsistent for whether the TV is gonna pop or not. The volume range of the pops varies, and the number of pops also varies. So when I turn off the TV, right, the voices are like, all right, show them we're real, make the TV pop. And boom, right after they fucking say that, I'm saying like immediately, like this is milliseconds. Once that sentence is finished, boom, the shit pops. So that part bugs me out right now. Again, I already know that the fucking TV pops. The TV pops in different form or fashion, right? It's not consistent. That's the main thing too. It's not like every time it pops 3 seconds later at a certain volume or a certain pitch. No, it varies already. So there's a couple different variables, right? So then go into my parents' room because their room is like directly across from mine. They got their door open. The dog likes to come in and out the rooms. I go over there. I'm like, hey, like, did you just hear the TV pop? And my mom naturally says, yeah, the TV pops often because she knows probably what direction I'm about to go, right? She's like, oh, the TV pops, that's normal. I'm like, yo, you're fucking killing me here. Like, yes, I know the TV pops. That's not the issue. The issue is that the voices that are supposedly fucking fake just predicted the exact second that these fucking TV was gonna pop. And not only that, they said it in a fashion, again, show them we're real, make the TV pop. And then like, yeah, it fucking pops, right? Again, same sound as normal, but like how could these fake voices seemingly make the TV pop or that they happen to say that random sentence just before the TV pops? So then we're talking in my room, right? I'm like, yo, I don't get this shit. Like, I'm trying to tell you, there's something more complex going on. I was like, you heard the pop that time, so there's no debate about whether the pop actually occurred. Like, and then I'm like, all right. So as we're talking, I'm like, I'm just trying to tell you there's more examples that I have that are like this. Like, this shit happens often. So while at this point, I've already figured out that there's a boundary or limit to the experience, right? It was enough, like I said, I figured this out in 3 months. It was enough for me to go back to school, go on and graduate, get my degree, and do all these other fucking things, right? But then there came a point in time where like certain parts of these coincidences just kept happening and were just too fucking weird, bro, to where I'm like, something else has to be going on. Like, it's now no longer enough for me to say this shit is fake or that there's a limit, right? Then what ends up happening is, so we're discussing the pop, right? And I'm trying to insist like there's other examples that I have that are like this, where if these voices are fake, they shouldn't be able to predict something like that. Yes, again, I know that the fucking TV already does that, but I'm trying to tell you it's inconsistent for the time frame at which it pops after the TV's been turned off. It's also inconsistent about like the fucking volume that it pop and then how many pops. Sometimes it's, again, 0 pops, right? It just turns off and it's fine. Other times it's one loud pop. And then again, sometimes that comes at the second. Sometimes that comes around probably like 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, right? Then there's other times where there's 2 small pops and a bigger pop, or a big pop and 2 small pops, or a big pop and a small pop, or 2 small pops. Like, there's so much range and variation is what I'm trying to communicate to you, that like you can't predict. It's not like you can say that somehow in my subconscious mind it's ingrained in me the way that the TV pops. I'm trying to tell you that there's fucking variation. So as we're discussing this in my room, at some point I hear them again go like, hey, show them we're real again. Start the car. And I'm telling you, man, a fucking car engine fucking starts. And it sounds like it's in the distance. Like, I'm just guessing in my mind, I'd say it's like 5, 6, 7, 8 houses up the street. It's not any of my immediate neighbors, right? It's not that type of shit. So I go, oh, look. I was like, did you just hear that car start? She's like, well, yeah, people come and go at all times, at all hours. That's what's been going on lately, right? Because I'm visiting in town this weekend, right? So she's all like, that's normal. I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to tell you that the voices literally just said, start the car, show them we're real again. And so I'm like, and this is a perfect example in my mind, right? Because it's like I could not see a vehicle, right? Like my windows, my drapes were closed. So there's no way you can argue that I'm seeing a car and somehow I'm filling it in, right? Then in this case, I also have someone that can confirm that there was also a car starting, right? But you can't argue again that it was in my line of sight and somehow now you want to argue my subconscious, da da da. So I'm saying, one, we're either saying what's left, the arguments that are left is one, that what I've been saying, like there's an element of validity and these voices are either unseen and predicting things, like maybe they're in the immediate area around me and that's how and they can somehow predict or know that other things are going to occur to give them the illusion of creating it. Because whoever the fuck started that car, that was an actual human who was going about their fucking day, leaving and going wherever the fuck they needed to go, right? So then the other thing is, if the argument is still that these voices are somehow a part of me, right? Like in some different sort of way, like it's not my voice, promise you that, like just based on the data that I have and just, it's not, these aren't my thoughts mislabeled. That's bullshit. The other argument would have to be then that up to, I'll just say 6 houses away, we can pick up on our environment and know what's going to happen at a greater distance. But then the weird thing is like, why the fuck, if we have this ability to, and also like somehow sense through like a wall, basically, like where there's no field of vision, you could accurately predict things on the other side of a window or a wall or a door. You're basically saying that there's some sort of power, or we have some sort of capability that's far greater and untapped. That's the only thing that's left. There's not a whole lot. I mean, it's either something outside of me and something unseen, essentially, correctly guessing these things. And yeah. So I'm saying there's a whole bunch of examples like this, right? And I don't think any one example is going to convince anybody that there's something more complex going on other than a change in perception, you know what I'm saying? Or a chemical imbalance. Like, come on, bro. I'm just saying I'm just trying to get at the point that it's complex. So whether or not, I mean, again, there's no single one example. It's going to take a series of examples. Someone still might not believe or understand exactly what I'm talking about, but I think, again, the way I explain it and some of the unique characteristics and qualities of these fucking examples, you're going to have to do some reconsideration. And eventually that reconsideration should reach people who design the studies and experiments. Because how the fuck are you going to probe and inquire about something when you don't fully understand it or you're dismissing key aspects of the data? That's all. All right, now, like another example I got, this again happened after I've already figured out the boundaries of the experience, but like weird shit keeps happening, right? This one time I'm listening to a music app. I got my headphones in. I'm outside walking my dog, right? Now, this place that I'm walking the dog by where I live, there's a field, right? It's this big field. It's been mowed, so the grass is low. And then there's like a section of houses like further down, right? A street that runs kind of diagonal, right? Now I have perfect visibility. There's nothing obstructing in my view. Now at some point when I'm listening, and I didn't have the music really loud, I probably had it like on 50%, right? Then they do that whole like show them we're real again type shit. And they go like, stop the music right now. And so what ends up happening, bro, my music fucking stops. What the fuck? Okay. So just to make sure, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, cause I get it. It's essentially music over the internet, right? Although I would argue this shit I already had downloaded to my catalog, my playlist, whatever. So it wouldn't really be pulling from an internet or a cell connection, right? But like, bro, I look at my phone and when I see the app on my lock screen, it now displays the play button because, you know, it's been paused, it's been stopped. So if I push play, it's going to pick up again. So I'm saying, how the fuck could these voices that are supposedly fucking fake, right? The way people try to say that they're fake, it's not real. How the fuck are they accurately, one, talking about I'm listening to a whatever app for music, right? Okay, fine. You can make the argument, well, you know that. Yeah, of course I know that. All right, bet. So now, how the fuck does it happen to randomly choose the phrase of like, stop the music now, show them we're real type shit? Like a split second before my phone seemingly stops. So your argument would have to be if there's no validity to these voices, would be one that my app was already gonna stop, maybe, right? That's one version. The app was already gonna stop. Now, why my brain created this voice, a different voice, to announce that it was gonna stop, but says it in a context of trying to prove that they're real, show them that we're real, make the voice stop, make the music stop. The timing of that, and I'm telling you, when they say make it stop, bro, literally it's like a split second after. It's a fraction of a second when this shit stops. Why the fuck would a fake voice be accurately predicting the stopping of the music? And how could it predict that? Your argument then would be that someone's brain is randomly saying some random fucking statement that just happens to be right extremely often whenever they choose to say shit like this. That makes zero sense, bro. And that's why I'm trying to tell you this shit is more complex, more nuanced than what's captured in the fucking literature. And until examples like this are taken into serious consideration, you're not going to have people asking the right questions at any stage of the research. They're just not. How can you develop a proper treatment, no matter what treatment game you're trying to develop, right? Whether it's a talk therapy, right? Whether it's literally something with medicine or some sort of biochemical gene scenario. How the fuck can you ask the right questions to develop the right anything when you're not taking into account the details like this, the accounts like this? The fact, like saying that it's fake or it's not real, bro, that this is why people buy into shit like that. You can say it's arbitrary that it's able to stop the music. Fine. But I think you would find that disconcerting if the voice you started hearing that's supposedly fucking fake is accurately predicting shit and seeming to have a physical impact on your world. That's what people don't fucking understand. So when shit like that happens, and a bunch of examples like that happen, and then y'all non-experiencers get like that one data point where y'all think it proves that, like, look, it's not real. You should let go of this idea, or quote unquote, this delusion, right? Y'all think your one little proof of why it's not real is gonna outweigh a bunch of these type of examples? Fucking please, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. Have some understanding. But you gotta have people articulated a certain type of way for y'all to get it. And I'm just telling you, the number of these coincidences is extremely fucking high. Extremely fucking high. That's why people buy in. That's why it's hard to navigate. That's why people think whatever these voices are saying is actually real that way. Now, again, there's something real happening. Clearly, there's an element of validity to what I just explained. But I'm saying there's still a limit for what they can do or how it can impact your immediate physical world, which is all the fuck you care about to begin with. So you got to think about it in those terms. So clinicians, researchers, catch up, please. And when I say there's nothing obstructing my view, it's because the angle at which I heard it was like up and at an angle, right? So I can look up and see that, well, first off, I can see no one's around, right? There's no human that said this. Plus the volume, the pitch and the volume wouldn't have made sense for it to be a person anyway. But I can look around and confirm no one's around. And I look all around me. But the direction I heard it, I just looked all over. There's nobody in the field, again, which is mode, so there's good visibility. There's nobody walking on the side of the street. There's nobody out by their houses. And there's definitely nobody up at this fucking angle, you know, in the fucking sky. There's none of that shit.